part 2 of our conversation with designated drinker and founder of AVEC Drinks, Alex Doman. So if you've missed part 1, go back and belly up to that bar and give it a listen first. We promise we're gonna save a seat right here for ya. Right, Gina?
Yes, Louise. I hope that your R2D2 oven is going to also be at the bar with us. We're virtual today. Everybody.
We are virtual today. We are coming to you from our homes. Yep. So in part 1, Alex, you shared your journey, a little bit into entrepreneurship, where you fit in the industry, a little bit about what you're putting in these beautiful cans. So if our listeners missed that, I think it's really important. Give us your elevator pitch one more time. So in case I didn't hear part 1, what am I drinking?
AVEC Drinks. We're rethinking the soda and mixer category,
Yep.
making it healthier, tastier, and more sustainable.
There we go. It is really, really beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the fourth one. The first half, we went through hibiscus and pomegranate, grapefruit and pomelo, and yuzu and lime. And now I'm going in for the big dog. I'm going in for ginger. What do you think, Gina?
Yeah, let's get into the ginger. The ginger one is particularly lovely. It's got all the floral notes of ginger, right? So when you don't add a ton of sugar to ginger, it's quite spicy, but also has a beautiful floral, tropical note to ginger, right? Like, I think that sometimes people forget that these things can have other tones to it, right? Ginger's not just spicy, or it's not just pickled. It does have like beautiful, like, aromas to it, which I absolutely love. And this is the one I picked to make a cocktail. So we could kind of do that early this episode, do you think? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, Alex, you ready? We're gonna make a drink real quick,
So
yeah?
fun. Let's do it.
All right. Let's talk about it, right? Everything loves a mule. A good mule with a ginger cocktail. Well, we have this product by AVEC. It's a ginger cocktail, and it's non-alcoholic, so you can drink it by itself, or you can add alcohol to it. Clearly, the show's title is Designated Drinker, so we're gonna add a little bit of alcohol to this drink, right? So let's get started. We're gonna make a mule. We are gonna start with our jalapenos that we quick pickled in lime juice and a little bit of salt. And we're gonna put this in the bottom of our julep cup, mule cup, whatever you have. Metal is best. Obviously, if you have a glass, you use a glass. That's not a big deal. So you're gonna put that in there. If you really like it spicy, take a little bit of your juice, put that in the bottom. If you're feeling crazy, put a lot of the juice in the bottom. That's really up to you. This is what I like to call it. However you're thinking, you can handle it. So we have those two in there, and we're gonna take our muddler, and we're just gonna give it a little tap. We're not gonna break up too much of the pepper. We're just making it so that the last of the capsaicins are released, and you can see that in there. They're not really broken up. They're just kind of pushed apart, right? So I can smell it now, so I might start choking, or whatever, because it's not that spicy. Just kidding. And then we're gonna take our tequila. We're gonna do 2 ounces. And then this one, you're gonna make a decision. Do you like it a little bit sweeter? Do you need a little bit more sweetness? I personally like about a half an ounce of simple syrup with each of the cocktails, so we're gonna add that. You do not have to. If you wanna keep it a little bit lighter, go. That's all subjective and up to you. So now we're gonna take our crushed ice. Well, I didn't have a crushed ice machine here, so this is a tag bag. Tag bag is a canvas bag that has a tie on it. And then I beat it very gently with a muddler. And when by gently, I mean like all your aggressions, you just kind of give it a, and then, you get your crushed ice, but many, many more times. So we're gonna take this out, and you kind of just roll down the bag, like a pastry bag almost. And you have this beautiful crushed ice. And because I'm only making this for Louise, I'm gonna probably use my hand here. If I was making this in the restaurant, I would probably have this in a beautiful bowl. I would never touch it. And if I was gonna use my hand, I'd use a glove. But Louise is gonna be just fine, and Alex is gonna love it. So it's extra if I touch it with my fingers. So we're gonna take this, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this all the way to the top. So one thing about doing a mule is like you really wanna have that extra room of ice, because then we're gonna take it and put our mixer on top. So we're gonna open our AVEC ginger, and we're gonna pour it across the top. And now you're gonna take that same spoon, and you're just gonna kind of pull through the bottom of your drink one more time just to make sure that everything is incorporated. Don't stir it. Don't stir a mule. It makes a huge mess and it doesn't want you to stir it. It just wants to exist. And we're gonna take our lime on the side, and you can either put it on the top like that if you like. You can put it on the side, however you wanna do your cocktails. It's up to you. Personally, I like it standing up a bit, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do a little sunset version. Put it right down in the center. And that's it. That's what you have right there. A little spicy Mexican mule. These tiny little cups. It's like working out of a thimble. I feel like Thumbelina. Oh, look at my little thimble. It's crazy. Anyway, Louise, I hope that you're ready for this because here we go. Cheers. So fun, so easy. You're basically gonna make your jalapeno and salted lime mixture, and then you're gonna add your vodka, or you could use, you could do American Mule if you wanna use whiskey. Whatever mule you're feeling is like your thing. Just don't call it Russian anymore, right? We're just gonna, it's just a mule. So anyway, and you're gonna add your own spice to it. You can make it your own, right? So if you're feeling crazy like my husband Neil, which he's probably not gonna listen to this episode because he's so annoyed that he's always in the other room, you can put a ghost pepper in it and scare the shit out of your friends. I don't know. But you're gonna do it less calories, and you know what? Drinking more than one is not gonna give you that same sugar belly. And it is the summertime, and people do like to do activities by the water. So this might be nice for sun and the fun. So that's my take on it.
And great for hangovers. No sugar, no hangovers.
And that's it, right? Less hangovers in the world is great, especially when you get to a certain age, like myself. I can't handle those. I can't handle the hangovers anymore. I can't do it. I just die a little bit each time. I can't.
I'm going to say just drinking just the ginger. Ginger is not my favorite flavor profile. Just about that. I mean, overall in the world. But I really like this. This, for me, this is going to sound crazy. It reminds me of pumpkin pie. And it's because the pumpkin pie my mother made, she always used ginger in her pumpkin pie. So I think that's that reminiscent, but it's not a burn. It's really subtle and light. So, but it's there. It's not like it's absent, but it just doesn't like smack you in the face like Gina does to me from time to time.
We're trying to create, like, when we put the stories of battery aside, we were trying to create a ginger beer, but this was early on in our journey, and we were trying to experiment with how do we make something, because ginger beer's got an incredibly specific flavor profile, right? You get hit by an incredible amount of sugar, really powerful ginger, and they sort of balance each other out, and it's super delicious, but it's awful for you. And so we're like, what do we do to fix it? So we use pineapple juice. So we use lots and lots and lots of ginger. And then we use pineapple juice and some molasses, and some allspice to create a kind of similar type flavor profile that's more tropical, should be just as punchy or similarly punchy, but 80-90% less sugar. I think this one is, because of the pineapple juice, this is amazing with whiskey, with rum, with some to make many tropical drinks. But we are going to do an on the nose ginger beer as well, because we're learning more about how we do these drinks as we go. So look out for that. Probably this year.
See, the tropical makes sense. I get like tropical notes from this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I like it. I think it's a well-needed addition to that market for sure.
Did you try it with tequila?
I didn't. We were really hung up on doing the mule. We did try it with whiskey though.
Yeah, it's really
We tried
good.
it with Michter's, and Michter's is pretty strong. It held its own. The American.
Yeah.
I mean, we do everything. We're testing through. We go we get on a train of thought, and you can't do everything because I'll be like laying on the table.
You don't realize which it goes with until you put them together. And Mexican mules and ones using bourbon, they kind of hug each other. I can't explain it any other way.
Did you ever do what is it called? The silver bullet, when you mix the two together? You do 1 ounce of whiskey and 1 ounce of tequila, and then you put the ginger beer with it.
No, that sounds great. How's that?
It is. It's really, try it, because I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's very lovely. And not an añejo, like a silver tequila. So the añejo would make it too sweet.
That was going to be my question to you, Gina. When you look at these, when you talk about ginger, and and Alex mentioned putting tequila in with the ginger. I just so happen to have the bottle of tequila sitting here, but it's an añejo, and I was like, oh, I bet you that wouldn't work because then you go back to that sugar note, and that was going to be my.
I mean, when I'm making like margaritas or something like that, añejo is a really nice sipping, obviously, but I also don't add simple syrup to my margaritas, so I'm looking for that like flavor profile. If I'm gonna use, like a secondary liqueur, then I try to steer clear of more sugar. They're too sweet. I think the margaritas are too sweet. You go to some places and like the margaritas are like, they're so gross. I can't. And what's crazy to me is you go to these nice restaurants. I was just in New York this past weekend, and you're in a nice restaurant, you order a drink, and like, holy crap, they still don't pay attention to their drink programs. They don't care. They're like, it's got fresh lime. And I'm like, yeah, and like what, like some gum? Did you put gum with this? I mean, did you pair it nicely with Hubba Bubba? Drink is $16 and it tastes like shit. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I'll pay $25. Yep. Just don't make the drink like a piece of shit. Like, don't do it. It's so fucking annoying to me. And I just drinks a whole lot.
Bartenders also.
Tell us how you really feel, Gina. Sorry, Alex, what were you saying?
During the like cocktail revolution that I think you'll know much more about it than I will, but like I think was like centered around New York. Certainly, like in America, but you drink many more cocktails than Europe does. Europe doesn't. Europe drinks a lot of mixed drinks like gin and tonics. It doesn't drink many cocktails, but a lot of the bartenders seem to have been like. It was just before people started caring about sugar, I think, and so a lot of the like tension, which is the correct mixture. I think bartenders still want it to be way sugarier than the consumer does. And so I end up getting in arguments occasionally about take my sugar out.
How much sugar is in a drink? Yeah.
Gina, do you think that has to do with the same thing like when a chef, like they get so accustomed, there's so much salt in their diet, or they're smokers and they lose their ability to fine tune or hone their salt in because they're so used to so much of it, or they can no longer feel where the regular average consumer doesn't eat that way?
So that's an age thing with chefs. That's not how much salt they have in their diet. It's age, just because your palate starts to kick back as you get older. So that's one. Well, unless you're on TV shows and they tell you no matter whatever you fucking put on there, they're like, it's not enough salt. Every TV show I've ever done, you should add more salt, Gina. I'm like, there's 4 cups. There's 4 cups on your plate. How is it not enough salt? Anyway. Sorry. Food Network, if you're listening, I definitely want to come back on and I'll put 4 cups of salt. Thanks.
Wait, hold on. So I've got 2 more. We have 2 more. Should we do the jalapeno orange, blood orange, or the spicy mango and passion fruit?
I would do the blood orange first. But I also love blood orange, and I think the best blood oranges in the world come from Italy, and yes, I'm biased. But
that's where we get ours from.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We use blood oranges because they're really the only place you can get properly good blood oranges all the way from Italy. And we have calamansi juice in there from the Philippines because actually blood orange, whilst it's a delicious flavor, doesn't hold up nearly as well as you think it's going to hold up. So we had to add calamansi juice in, which is much sharper.
I always tell my bartenders the best orange juice in the world has a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. It's so true. It's so funny.
Yeah, but orange juice is a lot flatter than you think it's going to be.
Yeah. It's the sugars.
Yeah. Is that why you always say add lemon? Is that why that?
It's a trick, right? It's a natural trick, but just like Alex when he did the ginger, right? He added pineapple juice to it to sweeten it, but he also got beautiful floral notes from it, so that was pretty cool. I loved that. I'm going to steal that, Alex.
Please.
100% stealing that.
Alex, why smoked salt in this? It's really lovely. I like the spice. It doesn't blow your face off. The heat comes in, she sneaks in and gets you in the back. But why smoked salt?
When we make a product and we don't make it, and we don't have the normal beverage hacks available to us, so like natural flavor or or sweeteners, and other things that beverage companies use. It means that we can't rely on sort of lab created flavor profiles to just inject water into and give you product. So what we're doing is kind of like seasoning the product. Does that make sense? We have to like create the right flavor balance for it to stand up to ice and to stand up to um, when it gets mixed. So we experimented with a bunch with salt and with smoked salt, and smoked salt just gave it a more interesting flavor.
Absolutely, it's complex. It's not simple. It's like, hello, I've got all these little things that are going to dance across your tongue. They're really great. I just reading the back. That's why I was
Yeah, I
like,
don't think we make enough
I wonder
of
why.
American marketing, particularly, as you can tell, I'm not originally from here. American marketing is very on the nose. It's like, this is what this is. Um, and we put the jalapeno blood oranges on the front of the can, but the flavor is made up of many more things. And we're kind of experimenting with ways of illustrating that, like putting all the ingredients on the front of the can, for example, but we're not quite sure. We haven't figured it out.
I think it's interesting too. I'm sorry, Jen. I think it's really interesting too, especially in your category where it's hidden as to what's inside. I mean, what the hell does natural flavors mean? And here you're being more, forward with what to expect. And I think because it is complex, for me, the curiosity of the brand, of course, that might just be who I am. I love the fact that I know what else you're doing. And like Gina's like, well, yeah, you had to do that with the pineapple and, against the, and so for me, it makes it feel more sophisticated and wants me to ask why.
I was gonna say in America, there's either one thing. It's either everything and you know every ingredient, or everything's a fucking secret. That's it. So it's either you know it or you don't.
You're
It's very,
right.
very black and white.
You're so right. We should do what was it? Dr. Pepper's like 37 different flavors or something. We should have done
Yeah.
something like a funny version of that. Shouldn't
Yeah.
we? Damn it.
So you know what the main ingredient of Dr. Pepper is?
No.
Prunes.
Is it? Prunes are delicious.
Yes, and the reason why they have to disclose that ingredient is because a lot of people have allergies to it.
Wow.
Oh.
That's blown my mind. Is that
Yeah,
true?
there you go.
We
That's
need to,
true.
But so if you're
I swear to God, it's
PSA,
true.
if you are allergic to prunes, do not drink Dr. Pepper.
Plums, prunes, and stone fruit, I believe. It's all the things.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's cool, right?
It would not hurt my feelings any. That's not a, that's a, do you have Dr. Pepper in New York, Gina? Did you
I mean, we grew
with
up,
that?
we didn't drink it. We drank Mr. Pips.
Yeah.
We
just
drank a lot of crap in like New York. New York was different. We also drank Yoo-Hoo. Did anybody else in the country drink Yoo-Hoo? Yoo-Hoo is chocolate water. And you shook it up and you got it in the delis in New York. And you can still get it in the delis in New York. And you shake it up and it's literally chocolate syrup and water. I'm not kidding. And maybe some like fake cream crap because it could be hot or cold. And that's what you drank and people loved it.
That was probably gum.
It's disgusting.
This spiced mango and passion fruit is really nice. It smells like natural fruit. It doesn't smell candy. It smells green.
This is your most
What's
recent
that?
flavor?
This is our newest flavor. We've taken a lot of the learnings that we've accumulated over the course of our lifespan to go into this flavor. So it's pretty punchy, right? Yeah. So it's
Yes.
a little bit. We use mango puree, Alfonso mango puree, the king of mangoes, passion fruit extract, and passion fruit juice alongside almond, a drop of agave.
Almonds.
And so it's supposed to be sort of somewhere between a spicy marg and a orgeat. And I think it's like the most, I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's the most incredible flavor, and it mixes beautifully and it drinks by itself gorgeously over ice. Out the can straight, I think it's still a little bit spicy, so we're reducing the spice a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely is. It was spicier than I had anticipated. Definitely, this one's hitting me some further back, like across in my tongue. But it's
Yeah.
That's
really
weird
good,
for you
though.
to say
It's
it's,
really
too
good.
it's spicy because you literally eat jalapenos.
It's just spicier than I expected, is what it was. Is because I did the jalapeno and I was like, okay, that got that heat. I kind of understood it, and then this one it was just spicier than I had anticipated. It's not like, oh my god, I can't.
We
do
are
it.
one
I'm
of the
not
first
fragile.
people. People say we're the first, but I don't think it's like who cares about who's first. But we're certainly one of the most recent people to sort of popularize spicy things in cans. Most people open them up and they go, when you say it's spicy, it means it's not spicy at all. Whereas our cans are spicy. I mean, the jalapeno and the spiced mango are both
They are.
intentionally spicy. I think that's cool, but
I
depends
think
who
it's
you are.
cool.
Depends who you are.
Yeah, I may have saved my favorite for last, unbeknownst to myself, because I didn't try any of these. Like, Gina tries all the product before it comes on the show. She's got, she's the expert. I'm just,
Try this one with mezcal.
one.
That's the only drink you ever
Oh,
need
yeah.
from now on. It's so good. It's so good, and it's easy. Yeah, love it.
I love that you used Alfonso mangoes. They're like my favorite. Everyone sees them in the grocery store and they'll be like, "Oh, those things look like they're dead, because they're yellow and like shriveled, but they're like beautiful and they smell like mango, as opposed to the green mangoes with the red." And you're like, "Oh, these are mangoes," and then they're like not ripe. It's ridiculous. Once you get into Alfonso, and they're only available a short amount of time a year here in the U.S.
Here especially.
But they're very
yeah.
seasonal.
Yeah.
They're a very seasonal product. They are the most expensive mango. We use them because we want to be using a smaller amount and getting the most amount out of it. And it's easily the best tasting of all the mangoes. I mean, I joke king of mangoes. That's what they're called.
They're delicious.
Delicious.
I would agree with that. The delicious. I love it. I love an Alfonso mango,
All right, Gina, you know what time it is.
I do. I know what time it is. But before I ask my final question, you can catch all the tips, tricks, recipes, all those things at designateddrinker.show. And you can visit us on Instagram for the tips and see my gorgeous face making you a cocktail. And if you think I'm gorgeous, please comment, because I think that's hilarious. All right, so...
I think you'd be right. And then the other thing, you're right, I didn't do my housekeeping either. You can go down and scroll through our notes. We're going to make sure you get all of those links that Gina mentioned, as well as how you get Alex's amazing beverages. If you can't get them off the shelves in your local market, you can get them. He'll send them directly to your house.
So,
with naked
yeah,
pictures of
send
himself.
nudes. Give us your number. Give us your number. All right, so, Alex, this is how we know if you listen to the show or not. There's always one last question. So I'm gonna actually change it up, because I was perusing the internet, when I can't sleep at night, and I realized that people have been identifying themselves forever with a spiritual animal that describes themselves, and I recently discovered that people are describing themselves now as plants and identifying with a plant. So if in this day and age you identify with a Swiss cheese monstera plant, because you're a beautiful, luscious green, and yes, a little bit of holy, so you're not sure if it's true or not. If you can identify yourself with one ingredient, whether it's in food or beverage, what would that ingredient be and why?
So not a plant.
Well, you can be both. Tell me your plant and your ingredient.
Oh, goodness, great question.
First thing's the best answer.
I'm really lanky and tall, and the only thing I can think of is celery. And yes. I'm like,
Tell me why.
I'm 6'6" and thin, and celeries are lanky as hell. And I feel some form of bromance or some form of affinity for celery. They're also almost entirely useless, that also resonates with me. They take more more effort to chew, than they give you nutrients, and that feels appropriate.
Oh, but celery gives so much flavor to soups and drinks and stuff. So you know what? I love it.
Yeah. There is some sort of there are some ancillary benefits to an otherwise totally useless thing, and that is me.
Alex, that is the first on, I don't even know how many seasons we are now on the show, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so glad that I put the plants in there instead. Gorgeous human, Alex. It was so great to meet you.
Lovely to be on the show, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, thanks for such great conversation. Amazing beverages, beautiful and delicious by themselves, and play so well with the spirit. So thanks.
You.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The Designated Drinker Show is produced by Missing Link, a Latina-owned, strategy-driven, creatively fueled production co-op. From ideation to creation, we craft human connections through intelligent, engaging, and informative content. Also in the Missing Link lineup of podcasts is Roger That, a podcast dedicated to guiding you through the haze of dementia, led by skilled caregivers. Now, if you're looking for a whole new way to enjoy the theater, check out Between Acts, an immersive audio theater podcast experience. Each episode takes you on a spellbinding journey through the works of newfound playwrights, from dramas to comedies and everything in between. Find Missing Link's League of Podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And while you're there, please don't forget to follow, download, and review the shows. Your reviews help our shows reach new audiences. To find out more about Missing Link, visit missinglink.company. That's missinglink.company.